Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Network Thirst. I hope you guys are doing great. In our previous video we have seen how to configure static routing with the help of two routers, and we have achieved our labs objective in the previous section, and we were able to communicate with the remote end networks. And today's session we will be learning about static routing within the help of three routers, how to configure the static routes within the network where we have three routers. Let's take an example that you have this existing network over here, and your customer has came to you that they have one more upcoming branch network, like they are installing even, or they are opening even new branch in another city, and they want you to have the communication with this network as well to, and they want you to provide the network reachability with this upcoming new third network to their existing production network. So we need to make sure that the users who are sitting on this side of VLAN, they should be able to communicate on this side VLAN, as well as they should be able to mount on the server which is hosted on this 192.168.30. So let's go and jump to our lab section. Before going that, just summarize these things over here. We have different IP addresses assigned for different interfaces within the help of the routers, and these are the routes command which you need to install the routing table. First of all, let's erase the previous configuration. So you should be take R2, R1 and R3 as a fresh routers. R3, R3, R3. Physical. So let's go to R1. Config host name should be R1. Interface FA0/0, which is something pointing towards WAN IP. No shut is a command to make sure that your interface should remain up and you should not lose the reachability. Pass 01 192 this IP address 192.168.1.1. No shut. Let's verify that IP address has been configured. Yes, these are configured there. Let's go to R2. Configure host name should be R2. Interface pass 600/0, which is pointing on the left hand side. No shut. FA0/1, which is also WAN IP. No shut. Its LAN is on 1/0. Let's assign the IP address for that as well. Let's verify. Yeah, go to R3 as now. Config T. Host name should be R3. Interface fast Ethernet 0/0, which is a public IP 200.1.1.2. No shut is a command for that. Interface fast is 01. IP address 192.168.3.1. Shut. Show IP interface brief is a command to verify. Now let's ping our broadcast IP so that we should know who else is listening on this IP in our network, which are directly connected to our interfaces, and you are on router 1. You see you are receiving a reply from these hosts, which means 192.168.1.20 and 1.10. You have the reachability up to there, and 1.2 as well. Similarly, if you go to R2, you'd see that you are receiving packets from these hosts, and if you go to R3, you are seeing that you are receiving a package from this 192.163.10 to the internal site LAN and the WAN public IP. Now we need to define the routes manually. For R1, these two networks 192.168.2.1 and 3.1, these two networks are the remote end networks. R1 should have the routes for these two networks. Similarly for R2, 192.168.1 network and 192.163 network, these two networks are the remote networks. It should have the routes for these two networks as well. And for R3, it should have one dot network and two dot network. But one thing I just want you to know, guys, that these 100.1.1 network and 200.1.1 network, these network you don't need to install in your routing table. Like example, if you are on R1, you should not install any route which is pointing towards 200.1.1.0 network. It's not your headache to maintain the routing table and to increase the routing table space and to add this network, because these are something which are connected via ISPs or your service provider. They should take care of these parts. But for R1, if you are going to this network, your next hop should be 100.1.1.2, and if you are going to this network, you see you have only one outbound exit interface which is pointing towards this router, which is R2. You don't have any directly connected route to jump to this 200.1.1.2, and this R2 is acting as a transit router, so you should always reach to this network via 100.1.1.2. Vice versa, if you're coming from this way, from router 3 perspective, you should reach out to these two networks via 200.1.1.1. This is a common hop, next hop for the R3 and R1. So let's jump to R1 and configure our IP routes. 192.168.1.0 network, it should be 2 because it is a internal site. And next hop should be 100.1.1.2. Perfect. Now similarly for 3 as well, let's verify. Yes, you can see these two routes have been installed in the R1. Now go to R2, config, then IP route is a command for 192.168.1.0/24 subnet, and to reach out to that we should go via 100.1.1. Exactly, it should be same for remote end network. Is a new network 3.0. You should land to there via 200.1.1.2. Let's verify our routing table. You can see these two new routes are there, 1.0 network and 200.1.1.0 network. They have been installed. And go to R3 now. IP route 192.168.1.0 network, and you should go it 200.1.1. Similarly, let's verify. You can see these two networks got installed, and As I said earlier, we have not installed these networks, 200.1 network in R1 and 100 network in R3. As per the process, you should not. If you do in your exam, you may lose the points. Let's verify from this way. Let's verify. First of all, IP configuration we have verified. Now 192.168.2.10. If you see here, the first one request timed out, second same, and the third packet it reaches. Now you are receiving a reply. Now let's try for the 3.10. Bravo, you are receiving a reply packet from that gate, and that 192.168.3.10. Let's try to reach out to a page on which server is hosted 192.168.3.30. Wow, you are able to land on the page where the server is hosted 192.168.3.30. Your application is working perfectly. So in this lab we have seen how to configure static routing with the hello 3 routers, and you have seen what network challenges you may face while configuring these 3 routers. And so friends, to perform this static routing, just have this software Cisco packet get installed and try to do it on your own, and just try to see what challenges you may face while configuring this lab. And if you like the video, please hit the like icon and do subscribe my channel for further updates regarding to the network labs. So have a good day friends, take care.